Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor. If you recently purchased yourself a new 2025 or newer Toyota 4Runner, then you're going to be coming into a big new technology suite compared to the older models. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use the center digital gauge cluster as well as the 14-inch infotainment screen. Now, if you have the smaller 8-inch infotainment screen, it should work about the same. It's just going to look a little bit different. So if you want to see any more on this 4Runner, check the link below. We've got our full review, our fuel economy test, and our dedicated sound system review of this optional 14-speaker JBL sound system. And also, if you're spending a lot of time with the new 4Runner, maybe you purchased one or you're borrowing one or something like that, I highly recommend you take some time in your driveway or garage, somewhere static, where you can learn how to use your vehicle, because you'll enjoy it that much more if you're comfortable and familiar. Starting off in front of us, let's take a look at our buttons and controls, because we still have a lot of physical controls in here, and I do like that about the 4Runner. Way over here on the left, you've got the ability to turn on or off your power opening rear door, and to, right here, have the floorboards either stay on or off, out or off, I guess, or automatically open with the door. That's kind of nice to have a control for that. Maybe if you were off-roading, getting in or out, and you didn't want those to pop open. Those are optional, by the way, these power-adjusted or power-retracting running boards. You've also got controls for automatic high beams, traction control, the 120-volt outlet back there, and the ability to open the rear liftgate from a button, open your fuel door, change the brightness of the center gauge cluster, and adjust your headlight angle. Very cool to have so many physical controls for those. Way over here also you have seat memory, and then your standard window and door lock controls. Coming up here on the steering wheel on the left side, you have controls for this screen in front of us. We're going to see that in a moment. Volume controls, voice command controls. Cruise control over here, the ability to turn on or off the cruise control. Change right here between adaptive cruise control and standard. Adjust your following distance. Just the audio input right here with the mode control, and then track selection right there. Taking a look at this gauge cluster in front of us, I think this is a 12.3-inch display, but it doesn't really matter. This is what you're seeing up here in front of us. There are a few different gauge modes. We'll go through those in a moment, but what you really need to know is that the screen sort of has three different customizable screens. So if you use these buttons on the left side and go to the right, you get screen number 2, screen number 3, and then back to screen number 1. And you can change what you see on all those screens. But in general, you're going to have most of this same information in front of you here. So I'll kind of go through what we're seeing in the non-changeable parts of the screen, and then we'll go through the customizable ones. So starting up on the top row, you see your outside temperature and your clock. Coming down through the center, you see digital speed, gear selection, drive mode selection. Right now we're in comfort. Some information on the right side there about cruise control. And then the center screen below that is customizable. You can see if we'll do that here in a moment. You'll see how it's customizable. Then you have your tachometer on the left, speedometer on the right, both analog style. Bottom left, engine coolant temp and odometer. And then bottom right, distance to empty and fuel gauge. Then, if you hold the OK button, you get the ability to customize. So it starts by customizing the center of the screen. So I'm going down right now and I see driving support. This shows us what adaptive cruise control mode we're using. Continuing down, we have settings, any messages we might have, and then the blank option. I wish you could put more information in this center screen, but we are a little bit limited there. We'll go into settings here in a moment, but first I want to show you how if you use the left and right buttons, say go to the left, then you can customize what you see in the middle of the tachometer. So again, you can go blank, eco indicator, show you if you're driving economically, a compass, what audio is playing, traction for all 4 wheels, trailer brake controller, that's optional for this one, auxiliary gauges, that's giving us a battery voltage, and looks like coolant temp, no, that would be oil temp, oil pressure rather, sorry. Oh, and then see if we've stayed too long, then it times out, we gotta hold OK again and go back to the left, and then turbo gauge is our last option. But then if that's not enough for you, you press left one more time, then you can actually choose what's an option here even. Let's see, is there a maximum amount? I think there is. Fuel economy, drive info, trip A, trip B. Oh, there's not a maximum amount. Wow, tire pressure, pitch and roll, trailer mode, blind spot monitoring, engine and trans, oil temp, and turbo gauge. Okay, so now if we come back to the right, now we can choose between all of these. We got fuel economy. So let's show you that one real quick. Again, just show you kind of what fuel economy you're getting. We saw eco indicator, saw driving support, navigation, audio, drive info that shows you your distance and trip time since you started the vehicle. Same with trip A and trip B. Those are both customizable and resettable. Tire pressure monitor right there. Shock traction monitor. Pitch and roll if you're doing off-roading. You want to see your pitch and roll angles. Trailer brake controller, trailer brake blind spot monitoring. That's kind of cool. And then those engine and trans oil temps there. So you can do the same thing on the right side as well. You can customize what things you see and what you want coming up. So a good amount of customization, but it does take some time to get it set up how you want it. So that's why I was saying it's good to spend time with the vehicle getting comfortable. Then if that's not enough, you go back to the center and press settings. Then you can turn on or off various safety warning systems like your blind spot monitoring, your parking distance assist, your parking beepers, rear cross traffic alert, pedestrian alerts. Then down at the bottom we have vehicle settings and meter settings. Let's do vehicle first. Press and hold OK again. Then you can have the option to turn on or off the brake suggestion. If you've been driving for a while, the vehicle is going to recommend that you take a break. You can turn that on or off. Right here, you can customize the dynamic radar cruise control or the adaptive cruise control. You can adjust how aggressively it accelerates, a message that pops up if, I actually don't know what guide message is going to be. Curve speed reduction. This is something I despise. I want to have that off. I don't like it when the vehicle slows down for me when it's coming into a corner. So I like that the vehicle has that adjustability. Then you have the ability to turn on or off the power lift gate in the back. And you can turn on or off if you want it to be hands-free. And you can adjust how high it opens. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I don't know, that must be a custom right there. And the volume for the beep, how loud it beeps when it's opening. So again, nice to have that adjustability. Trailer settings. You can add a trailer in here if you're doing towing with your 4Runner and add information about the length. Trailer light check. I don't like that that's buried all the way in here, but you can have all the lights turn on or off. That's something that should just be in the center screen. TPWS. Tire pressure warning system. Okay, I don't know why it can't be TPMS, but all right. Tire rotation, pressure settings in there. Scheduled maintenance, if you want to reset, if you do your oil change or something, you can do that there. Rear seat reminder, you can have that on or off. Extended stop start reduces AC output, okay? Stop lights display. Oh, if you want to see when you're pressing your brake lights, see those red things pop up? Yeah, you can turn that on or off. There's a lot of customization in there. I like that. Then, down under meter settings, this is where you press and hold OK again, and you can change the language and the units for your meters, but also the type and style. So we've got these analog style ones here, but you can press this. That gets rid of the analog speedometer. It just shows you an analog tach with digital speedo. Or you can get rid of the analog altogether and just have digital. I like the ability to choose between those. Then the style. Right now we've got tough, but there's also sporty, casual, and smart. I actually kind of like casual for this car, so I should leave it on tough. Although this is the limited trim, so you know what? We're going back to casual. So a lot of customization there on that screen, but again, you definitely have to know where to look and how to get in there and change those things up. Because if you just leave it as you get it from the dealership, you might think it's a bit boring. Now making our way into the center. Again, let's take a look at our physical controls before getting into this 14-inch touchscreen. You've got a nice big volume control right in the center. Easy to reach for both the driver and passenger, and it's a big knob too, so if you've got gloves on or big meaty claws, you can still adjust the volume. Then below, I love having physical adjustments for climate control. Got physical scrollers for the temp, and then up-down toggles and buttons for your heated seats, ventilated seats, fan speed, heated steering wheel. I love having all of that. And then way down here, you got your electronic parking brake, stop, hold. So if you come to a stop, the vehicle will hold the parking brake for you until you take off again. Drive mode and tow haul buttons, your 4 high and 4 low adjustments, trailer backup assist, button to bring up your camera. Nice to have that. auto stop start, turn on or off. Now, taking a look at this nice large screen. Toyota has been using this system in all of their vehicles now. It's a competent system, and this screen is nice and high definition. However, I do have some qualms with it. It's not a very advanced system, so it's not showing us any good information about off-roading or engine specs. If you get a hybrid Toyota model, it's not showing you nerd specs about your hybrid information. It's simply giving you core basics. And especially in these larger screen models, there's a lot of dead space. So say, for example, we bring up something like the sound adjustments. Look at all this dead white space and this underutilization of screen real estate. And I get that it has to scale up for these larger screen models and still scale down for the smaller screen models. But nonetheless, it's not my favorite system, but it's not my least favorite system. So we're going to do Android Auto and Apple CarPlay later on in the video. So let's just start by showing you a general overview here of the screen. Now you can see this specific model that we're in is not subscribed to navigation. I think if we hit get started, it's going to tell us essentially we need to pay for it. Service activation required. Yep. I don't know why Toyota hasn't enabled that for a limited 4Runner here, but either way, this is where you'd see your in-vehicle navigation. I'm sorry that we can't show you more of it. A bit unfortunate there. You know what? Here, I'll just drop footage from the Toyota Tacoma that we reviewed that should have essentially the same navigation system. Let's take a look at the navigation here. It's loosely based on Google Maps. You can either use these plus and minus buttons to zoom or pinch and zoom. Nice resolution, decent enough refresh rate, but good responsiveness as we're moving around. So you can see if I bring it north up here and I wanted to use it like a normal map, I could say, okay, what's over here in Tustin? I could quickly zoom in, look for a certain thing. Okay, there's Carrillo Park Drive, East Fruit Street, and okay, there's Carrillo Park. I could click right here and say, maybe hold click. No, I actually can't. Oh, there we go. It's just taking its time. Yeah, Fitness Court, Carrillo Park. Get directions. If you plan on using the built-in navigation regularly, I highly recommend you play around with it and get comfortable, but we'll show you how to do a little bit more with voice control later on. Okay, continuing down the left, we have our media screen. If we enable audio here, you can see the Sirius XM. Bring that. You can go through the channels. Let's say we want to go to 80s on 8. Then we've got the now playing over here. We can play and pause, adjust the channels, and also press this big button for different media sources. We could go to something like Amazon Music or Apple Music. And once you're in screens like this, you also have this persistent menu button right here for the voice commands, which we'll see later on. Continuing down the left, we have a button for our phone, but if we press that right now, we're going to get brought to Android Auto because we're connected. But if you were connected via Bluetooth only and not connected for phone projection, then you'd be able to make calls, see recent calls, contacts, etc. Continuing down the left, we have our vehicle screen, and this is what I'm kind of talking about. It's very limited in your actual vehicle information, but we do have trip info here. We can see our average fuel economy, and then you can clear that. And then coming back, any vehicle alerts you have, if you had a problem with your car, it would show you here. But this isn't a very helpful screen. I mean, look, it's just blank white. Who is that helping? Anyway, coming on back, let's take a look at the settings screen. Now, we're not going to go through every nitty-gritty detail setting, but we are going to show you what you need to know. This Toyota system is compatible with profiles, so if you have other Toyota vehicles in the household, you can synchronize your settings from vehicle to vehicle. And also, if there are multiple people using this vehicle, then you can customize their profiles to save their settings for them. Continuing down into personal information, you can reset all the settings to their system defaults there. Bluetooth and devices, we're going to use that later to pair up our iPhone. General settings, you can turn the screen beep on or off, so you can see if it's on. Then every time you touch the screen, it's going to make a noise. I prefer having that off. Screen sensitivity as well, you can turn that all the way up and it'll work better with gloves. You can adjust your date and time, use things like a 24-hour clock, or change on or off for daylight savings time. Under language and units, you can choose between English, Spanish, and French. And you can also have your measurements set automatically based on your location. I think this is smart, so if you're driving to Mexico or Canada out of the US, then it's going to automatically switch over to kilometers per hour. Coming on back, going down, let's go to Wi-Fi. This vehicle has the optional Wi-Fi hotspot, so you can provide an internet connection to tablets or kids' devices or laptops, something like that, if you pay monthly. And then also under Wi-Fi, you can connect to your home or business's Wi-Fi in order to download software updates. Continuing down to display, you can turn the display off from here. So say, for example, you're driving at night, you don't want to see any lights coming from your center display, you can turn that off from right there and simply tap on the screen to turn it back on. You can also change the mode. So if you want to go to a nighttime mode, if that's a little easier on your eyes, honestly, that's probably how I would drive with it all the time. But if you have it on automatic, it'll stay bright like this during the daytime, then switch over to that night mode when it gets dark out. Under camera, you can adjust the brightness and contrast for when the camera is up. Coming on back and going down to voice and search. This will turn on or off the wake word. Now with it off, I can say, "Hey Toyota," and nothing happens. But when it's on, then you will trigger the vehicle's voice commands by using that wake word. I'll show you that here in a little while. Under vehicle customize, you have a lot of settings and customization here for your headlights, how long they stay on, if you want them automatically to come on and off and have your daytime running lamps on. Under illumination, you can adjust the brightness for the subtle bits of ambient lighting around the cabin. Door control, do you want it to automatically lock and unlock in certain situations, like when shifting? You can hear the locks locking and unlock. Smart access doors, when you unlock by touching the door handle, do you want all the doors to unlock or just the driver? Also, how loud do you want it to be when you press the lock button? Say you live in a quiet neighborhood and you don't want it beeping really loud when you lock the car, you can turn that feedback tone down. Under boarding and exit, do you want the seat to slide back when you get out of it? I don't, so I'm going to have that off. But you can have the steering column tilt and get out of your way for you when you turn the car off if you want. Custom drive modes. There are multiple drive modes in the 4Runner here, and you can have a custom one where you adjust how the powertrain, suspension, steering, and air conditioning all work. Then continuing on down to dealer info. This will give you information for where your vehicle was purchased, and you can contact your dealer easily. Under info and security, you can reset the system from there. If you're connected to Wi-Fi and you want to see if you have any software updates, you get that there. That's about all you need to know from the settings screen. Now let's take a look at voice controls. Now typically we do voice controls with navigation. I'm actually going to drop more footage here from a previous Toyota infotainment test to show you how the voice command works with navigation. Now let's take a look at voice commands. So I'm going to bring it back to the nav here, and I'm going to press this button first. Navigate to the nearest Starbucks.
The closest Starbucks is Starbucks at 2790 Lake Forest Drive. Would you like to go now?
Yes.
Calculating route to Starbucks.
There we go, nice and straightforward. You can see the navigation is now running. But then I can also do this. Hey Toyota. Cancel navigation.
Canceling trip.
Look at that. You can also do other things like, hey Toyota. Hey Toyota. Set the temperature to 62 degrees.
Setting the driver's temperature to 62 degrees.
Look at that. Pretty nifty. You can see now. Set at 62. 62. Hey Toyota. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Here is the weather for Lake Forest, California on Thursday, April 25th. A couple of morning showers. Otherwise, low clouds breaking for some sun and cool.
See? Very nice. It's a much more useful system than a lot of the other cars we've tested recently. Now let's show you how Apple CarPlay and Android Auto look. I've already got Android Auto wirelessly connected here, so pressing up on the top left of the screen, we get the full screen being taken up by Android Auto. Pretty good resolution, decent responsiveness as well, a little bit of lag there, but nothing that's too end of the world. We should be able to, pinch and zoom, move around Google Maps. This is what our home screen is going to look like, so you're going to have your most recent media up on the right, and then your map on the left. Let's bring up YouTube Music, and you see it flip-flops there. You can do something like play your super mix. What are we getting today? Some delaying, and then if we come back home, then you can see media on the right, map on the left. Interestingly, we don't have the quick toggle here to get us back to the Toyota screen. Something I was just driving recently, the Tundra, I think it was, had a quick toggle to get back to the Toyota home screen. I don't know if that's some setting that I'm missing here or what, but in order to get back to the Toyota home screen in this 4Runner, you have to bring up your apps and then press Toyota. We're going to see if Apple CarPlay works a little differently, but I don't know why that's different in this car compared to the last Toyota system we used. Now let's show you how to pair up an iPhone. So we've got our trusty iPhone 13 mini. We're going to go to the settings screen, and right now I know we have our maximum 5 out of 5 devices connected, so I'm actually going to forget a previous device, and now we have the ability to add a new device. So I'm going to go up here to Manage Devices, add another device, OK, and then on my iPhone I'm going to bring up the settings screen, go to Bluetooth, scroll down. Under Other Devices, I should see Toyota 4Runner pop up at any moment. There it is. Confirm the code on both the device and the car. Press Allow to anything that pops up. Enable CarPlay, yes. Connect on the phone, connect. Ignore on the phone. Don't allow, and there we go. Apple CarPlay coming up, again taking up the whole screen. However, this is what I was interested in. On CarPlay, we have the ability to quickly go back to the Toyota screen. Oh, actually, this just brings up the side menu. Okay, so it doesn't bring us back home, but it brings up the side menu. Interesting. So apparently, Android Auto not supporting that. So here's how Apple CarPlay is generally going to look. Now, unfortunately, my iPhone does not have a data connection, so you would typically have the map coming up. This is how it's going to look for us because it's pretty much just low resolution. You cannot pinch and zoom with iPhone, although I've been told that that's coming in a new iOS update before too long, the ability to pinch and zoom on CarPlay, so that's going to be nice. Here's what your whole app screen is going to look like, though. Again, good resolution, good responsiveness. Let's bring YouTube music up real quick, see what our media is going to look like when it's being played. Some Creed. Come home, then you can see media on the right and maps on the left. Again, and come back home to the Toyota screen right there. So there it is, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, voice commands, all the things you need to know about using the system here in the new Toyota 4Runner. Hopefully I answered any questions you may have. If there's anything else I can get for you, let me know down in the comments. I'll try to answer it retroactively. Be sure to check out all of our other 4Runner videos if you want to see more, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.